This is for the love in you.
I appreciate everything you do.
This is for the love, 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 love.
Peace and light. This is your self-love advocate, Pierre, and this is the Love Right Now show as we continue the series, Healing the Black Woman. I've been speaking with some amazing women who are passionate about this work that they're doing to fill in the gaps of the disparities that we're seeing with Black women in healthcare spaces. And my guest today is Sharetha Simpson.
Hi.
Hey, Virgo sister. Thank you for being on the show today. We've worked together for several years, and I've seen your work up close. I've had the pleasure of being massaged by you, and I know how genuine you are about this work and how skilled you are as well. So we're going to get into what Sharetha does to help fill in these gaps, but I always start the show recognizing a person that's been self-love slaying in these streets, and that is going to be you. And I'm just really excited about this conversation being had, not just on this show, but across the globe, especially in light of some events that have happened with the Supreme Court nomination, that that has really gotten all women really
Revved
just
up,
energetic, and voting is coming. Vote.
Yes,
Make sure you go vote.
November 6th.
Yes, please. Whether this podcast is published after November 6th or not, whatever election is coming up, go vote, okay? So I want to start the show talking a little bit about the services that you provide, and we'll talk about the demographics of the people that you serve, and then we'll jump into some experiences that you've had.
Okay, awesome.
So what is your business and what do you do?
Well, my business is Infinite Wellness, and I named it Infinite Wellness because wellness is always needed. It's always infinite. It takes a full lifetime before and after lifetime to just continue to heal ourselves on a daily basis, bringing your body, your energy, your mind, body, spirit back into balance. And so I do massage therapy, and I specialize in energy work.
Okay. So for those of us, I know you and I, we know mind, body, spirit, we get it, right? But for those of us that are new, that it's like, okay, well, if my body is acting a certain way, what does that have to do with my spirit?
Right.
And what is this energy? What are we talking about?
So everything is energy. Our words, our thoughts, our bodies, our minds, our hearts. Everything is energy. Radio, TV, and we don't even think about it. We go through day to day. We don't even think about it. So energy, as it relates to us, we know what our body is. We know what our mind is. We know what our spirit is or our soul is. It's the breath within us. So if our energy or our spirit is out of balance, for example, if you're sitting at work and you're like stressed and the boss comes and puts more paper on your desk to do, say, hey, you need to go ahead and do this, and you're like, oh, I wanted to cuss, but I have all this stuff to do, and so our stress level goes up, and then the energy within our body starts to stagnate. We start to get that indigestion when we eat. We start to have problems going to the restroom. We start to not wanting to get up, feeling tired. That stagnation of energy. And so to replenish that energy or to replace that flow or to put our bodies back in balance, because we're constantly healing. Pay attention to what we're eating. Pay attention to our stress level. Listen to our bodies. If something is hurting, don't just throw it off. And Spirit had to get on me the other day because I would not stop to go to the restroom.
Working.
And Spirit was like, honor your body. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta honor my body.
Yeah.
When the body speaks, honor that. If something is hurting, speak to your body. Okay, why is this hurting? Did I give you some food that I wasn't supposed to eat?
Mm-hmm.
Did I not drink enough water? What is it that I need?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we're out of balance because we're not honoring our bodies
And listening to our needs.
and listening to our
And
needs.
addressing them. I
Yes.
love that. So we're all connected.
Mhm.
Everything is connected.
Everything is
And a lot of people, feel like stress cannot manifest inside the body. And it turns into so many different things.
and
And
that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Outside in the spirit realm.
and when I think about fibroids because it's so common.
It's very prevalent.
Yeah, right. And I finally, read an article by an MD that recognized that yes, you need to look at. There was some stagnation in terms of blood flow, right? What are you eating? But then, what is the emotional relevance
Yes.
to why you are having
Yes.
fibroids? That's
Yes.
a very key example because it's so common amongst all women, actually.
Yes.
But that it actually can be manifested by emotional stress or
Yes.
emotional imbalance.
And I've had other massage therapists that are women that have been pregnant call me up and say, hey, I got these fibroids, I got this baby on the way, what can I do? Because they know I specialize in energy work. Well, what are your thoughts? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you putting your needs first? Are you doing your spiritual bath where you go into a bath and you sit and you meditate and you pray? Are you eating? Because sometimes as therapists, I'll notice I don't even eat during the day. It's like, dang, I haven't broken my fast. What is up with that? And so, God bless Crystal when I met her. I met Crystal through you, and when she said, I carry healthy snacks all the time, Sharetha has been carrying them healthy snacks.
Shout out to you, Crystal.
Yes.
She gonna have them snacks back.
Yes. And I realized yesterday, I got hungry, and I was like, I didn't cut up some cucumber, had it in the refrigerator, already ready to go. So I was like, let me pull out these cucumbers. But most of the time, stress manifests in our minds. What is the self-talk? What is the story we're telling ourselves? You're just getting pregnant. Are you scared to have the baby? It's okay. It's a first time for everything, for everybody. And so people don't realize our thoughts and our self-talk have vibration. That energy we were talking about, it manifests.
Yeah.
And people don't believe, oh, I really can manifest this stuff. I am a manifester. Yes, you're creating your life as you go, as you're thinking.
Yeah.
And so, of course, with fibroids, it's the milk, it's the dairy, it's the cheese. I know.
Oh no,
I love
not
the
the cheese.
I love the cheese.
Not the cheese.
Yes, it's the meat.
Because they put all the hormones and all that stuff in it. So,
Yes.
like eating more clean, organic.
Yes, fruits and vegetables. Yeah.
I definitely had to move to a more. I've been a relatively good eater, right? But like today, my sister brought me a smoothie. She knew what I needed. I hadn't had lunch yet, and I was gonna go get something greasy, but I'm gonna drink my smoothie instead. But I've noticed a change in my own body, in my own thoughts, in my own stress level when I eat the best.
Yes.
And that positive self-talk is so important. So what you do for your clients is you provide massage therapy.
Yes.
And I know that, massage is just not massage for you. It's an energetic exchange.
It's an energetic
Yeah. And I believe that. I think, anybody that's working on you, needs to make sure they have good energy, right? And good intentions. And then you also, you teach others Reiki.
Yes, I do.
So what is Reiki? How did you get into it?
Oh, I love Dr. Akua. She is one of the greatest Reiki teachers. Okay, so she developed the form of naturopathic Reiki, but it's founded, or the foundation of it is Usui Reiki, which is worldwide. Usui Reiki. And so
That's Dr. Akua Gray. Shout out
Yes.
to Dr. Akua Gray.
and so naturopathic Reiki adds in the Reiki, but we take the natural diet.
Mm-hmm.
We take, of course, the water. We use herbs. We use essential oil. And then, of course, as a Reiki master, we are challenged daily to use Reiki for ourselves.
Okay.
Because when you use Reiki for yourself, you get in that right mindset and spirit. And Reiki is energy work.
Mm-hmm.
Reiki is I like to call it a natural form of what they would say in the church, land of hands.
Okay.
But it's transferring, it's the energy, you can imagine it coming down
Mm-hmm.
from the heavens through your body and out of your hands to help bring somebody else's body back into balance.
So what kind of elements or issues would someone come to you to get Reiki for? We kind of know with massage therapy, right?
Right, manipulating the muscle tissues with
Yeah.
massage therapy. Reiki, on the other hand, you can use it for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You can use it for pain. You
Mm-hmm.
can use it before you have surgery and after you have surgery because it's light to butterfly touch. It's not really manipulating anything. You can use it for imbalances in your digestive system, sexual organs. You can use it, I'll tell you this. So I had a childhood memory come up,
Mm-hmm.
driving in 8 o'clock a.m. traffic one
In
day
Houston?
in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And I just burst into tears
Mm.
after that memory came up that I had suppressed and forgot about.
Okay.
But I had been asking, okay, where is this? I was trying to heal rage within me, and where is it, coming from? And they were like, this is where it started. This is where you need to heal it. And so
I'm getting chills.
yeah, I had to, because I had a 9 o'clock client, I had to hurry up and pull over at a park in the sun, sit, and do a Reiki symbol on myself. I went back to that moment in that time, space, and healed that event. And healed that memory. So now when it comes up, it's like, okay, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with it,
Yeah.
It was a lesson.
You released.
I released it.
It's kind of, I like to say, like, sometimes we hold ourselves hostage.
Oh, yeah.
So you released yourself
Yes.
through Reiki.
Yes.
Wow.
And so that's how powerful it is. You can go back in time and heal the events. If you need to heal ancestors, if you need to heal your future, if you need to heal your thoughts, because sometimes a thought will just come up and it'll keep attacking you. And so you can just simply say, this is not my truth. I don't want any parts, and send Reiki to that thought. Okay? And a lot of times our thoughts go, when they travel, they become emotions.
Okay.
And we start to feel, and we get tight and
Yeah.
tense.
Yeah.
Or on the other hand, if it's a good emotion or a good thought,
Yeah.
we start to feel that as well.
Yeah.
So that's how things manifest. So you
Our
can
thoughts
use Reiki.
become emotions.
Mhm.
They do.
Yeah, and once
That
you
is so
feel, the universe knows vibration of feeling. That's why when you pray, you shouldn't pray from a place of desperation, because you're feeling that. And that desperation is coming back to you over and over again. So pray from a place from happiness, from excitement,
Yeah.
from vigor. And so with Reiki, I use it for everything. I use it to my food. When I'm washing fruits and vegetables, I use it in my home to clear space.
Okay.
To clear out stuff. We usually use
Sage.
cinnamon. I use Reiki as well.
I didn't realize Reiki had that much reach.
Oh, yeah.
I always just envision like someone laying down, and I know this is part of it, and you doing this, and then everything is better. But, in terms of healing thoughts, using the energetic exchange, which is why you can do Reiki on yourself as a healing That's pretty powerful.
Yes, it is.
So, what is the demographics of the people you serve, the people that come to you?
So I have a little bit of everybody, which is good.
It is, yeah.
Which is good. I love that I'm able to serve married couples.
Okay.
Because I didn't grow up in a household where my mom and my dad were married in the same household, but I get to see how much wealth it is and love it is amongst married couples. And so if I'm serving a husband, I'm serving a wife. And that's a great thing. And they're all ethnicities. Okay. So married couples is, I guess, my thing. It would be my demographic.
That's beautiful. So
yes.
you serve women,
yes.
you serve men,
yes.
and you also serve couples.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's very beautiful. Okay.
Yes.
So as we talk about the discussion of healthcare and the healthcare spaces, okay, you think back, you had a childhood memory that you healed. So when you think all the way back to your first lessons in becoming a woman and how to take care of yourself as a woman, who taught you those lessons?
Okay, so I owe this to my mom and all of my grandmothers.
Okay.
All of them. Okay, so my mom, Wanda Sexton, my grandmother, Retha Britton, who I'm named after.
Beautiful.
My mom's mom, and then my dad's mom's, Irma Simpson, and then Nora Williams.
Okay.
Nora taught me all of the affection with my grandmother. Irma used to keep me, she would give me hugs and kisses, and I was a baby then, but I give hugs and kisses now. So it stayed with me. Grandma Irma taught me how to protect myself. I always lock your doors, roll your windows up, don't let nobody in. If the lights come on, you need to be in the house. Just protecting yourself.
That's a good one right
yes.
there. I know a lot of y'all have heard that. Let that light come on and you're not home.
Now we out in these streets, grown men. I don't care if you're grown or not. It's get home.
Get home.
Yes.
And now I finally feel that way. I didn't feel that way when I was younger. When I was younger, I was like,
for what?
The party just getting started when the lights come on. But now even I tell my husband sometimes, I'm like, it's too late. If it's after a certain time, I'm home. I'm like, okay. But that's a big one. Okay, so.
Yes, so she taught me protection.
Okay.
Even some deep-rooted protection things. Just not letting anybody in your home.
Okay.
All that good stuff.
So she kind of, talked about energy exchange.
Yes.
In that way. She
yes.
might not have called it an energy exchange.
Right. And she didn't keep our pictures up just for anybody else to see.
Oh, interesting. Why was that? Do you know why?
Well, that's a whole nother topic.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure you know.
Oh, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Same reason why certain people don't like to post certain photos of their children and
of their
like that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Them Louisiana Creoles.
Oh,
you gotta love them.
I'm a product. Yes.
And then Rita Marie taught me everything about beauty. She was a beautician, so she taught all of us how to do hair. Don't go out with your eyebrows not arched, with your hair not done.
I'm sorry, Mama.
With
Rita,
the pearls.
Don't look at my
with your pearls on, or your studs, your perfume. My grandmother, she used to wear so much perfume. When she took her clothes to the cleaners and they came back, they still smell like the perfume.
I love it.
But you love her, and then she cooks like, I loved her gumbo. Cooks like so good. And of course, my mom taught me all of those things, especially about female hygiene, keeping yourself clean, about your cycle, and just being pretty, just being feminine. Yeah. So I loved all of my grandmothers and my mom because of that.
That's so beautiful. You had that support.
Yeah.
As you were going through your rites of passage into womanhood, I just think that is so amazing.
Yes.
So even though you were taught a lot of things from some amazing women, what are some things that you feel like you wish you were taught that maybe you weren't?
Oh, divine sexuality.
Hold on. Somebody lost already. Hold on. Divine sexuality.
Divine sexuality.
What is divine sexuality?
Well, divine sexuality, a lot of times, well, I'm an 80s baby. So we grew up a lot of times thinking that, or we were told, you need to grow up, get married, have a husband before you even have sex. That is great. I don't knock it. But divine sexuality taught me how to use sexual energy for manifestation.
Okay.
Whether you're having sex or being intimate with someone, or you're just feeling that arousal and being able to create something, being able to write a book, or using that energy to dance. I love to dance. Being able to use that energy for art, for exercise, you know, it's a very, very beautiful energy. And because this world that we live in has suppressed it so much, people are afraid to talk about sex and having orgasms, and you know,
Not in the woman's earth, girl.
Right.
But you're right. You're
Yes.
right. It's still in 2018
Taboo.
very taboo to talk about sex, which is very surprising with all of the sexual images.
Right.
That we see, right? But when you get around the dinner table, it's like, okay, we're not gonna talk about that, right? So, but divine sexuality, and I do agree with you, you know, and I think on some levels, I think our ancestors knew that, you know, but because of the restrictions of we just trying to survive out here in these streets, we really didn't get into some of those things when we were being taught rites of passage in womanhood. We just wanted you to be ready for the world, right?
Yes.
But I do believe, and I have taught about using sexual energy to manifest.
Yes.
So I think it's really, really cool that you incorporate that into your teachings.
Yes, and it's powerful.
Yeah.
And I always have a joke saying that's why the church don't teach it. But you know, I grew up part Catholic and I grew up part Baptist. But it's very powerful, and most of the time it's looked at, oh, it's procreation, but it's so much more than just procreation. It's about releasing some things and being able to. One of my good mentors, she said, it's a way to pour back into yourself. Being intimate with somebody that's on your frequency and that may have discipline or may have something that your soul is needing. My love, he is very, very outspoken. And so you kind of mesh and take on that person's characteristic when you're intimate. Even if it's just, let's just say I was in college and, you know, wanted to be intimate with somebody, if they're on my frequency or a higher frequency that I am, that vibration is raised.
Okay.
And so we always find what we need, or our soul is always searching for what we need in other people, because sometimes we need to be able to release the other junk.
Right.
And so that something else positive can come in. So we talk about soul ties a lot, and we talk about the negative aspect of soul ties, but never the positive.
That's true. Everybody's always coming talking about, how can I break this soul tie?
I'm so tired of this man. Let me get rid of him. But it was a lesson in the experience.
It wasn't all bad.
It wasn't all
Yeah.
bad. Nothing is all bad, and nothing is all good. And so sometimes your soul may have needed something and somebody else has. You might find that you're more focused now because you've had this intimate experience with that person. You know, Spirit just allowed you to dip in and get what you needed, and you got it.
You got it. And now you just need to move on or decide what you're going to do with it.
Right.
So sex is a spiritual act.
Yes,
At the
it
end of the
is.
day, sex is a spiritual act, and who you choose to engage with, if you bring someone into your space, you need to be very cognizant of that person. If that person is a very negative person and you have sex with them, then perhaps it's going to affect
Right.
your ability to be positive.
Exactly.
If that person is a very positive, motivating individual and you choose to have sex with them, then perhaps it will
Raise your vibration.
raise your vibration. It'll raise your own up. So interview somebody.
I like the way you said that, interview.
Take applications. I don't know. But just be very aware, and I think that's important.
That's
really
very
do.
important. And then too, just being able to just pour back into you, like, oh my God, I needed that release.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been talking to Sharetha Simpson. Y'all didn't know we was gonna go there, but we did, about how we can heal ourselves through energetic exchange and even encompassing divine sexuality.
Yes.
And we're gonna talk more about your personal experiences as it relates to being a Black woman in healthcare spaces and what you've heard from your clients too. So we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I'm back with Sharetha Simpson on the Love Right Now show, and we just had a very good conversation talking about energetic exchange, making sure that you know the people that you choose to have certain energetic exchanges with, protecting yourself, all that good stuff. I love it. And so I want to ask you, I know we talked earlier, prior to the show, about experiences that you've heard from clients about, specifically Black women, about not feeling heard in healthcare spaces. So let's talk about that. What have your clients been telling you?
Okay, so most clients, after they've had a baby, they said that their hospital experience was horrible. Being restricted to a bed. And so a lot of first-time moms don't know, so they kind of go with the flow of what they're told to do instead of listening to their bodies, allowing it to happen naturally, doing their research. And there's so many different ways and places you can have your baby, wherever you choose. So I think that's very important to listen to your body and to your baby, and just allowing the natural process to take place instead of being so restricted.
I'm a birth doula, and so I definitely have seen that up close and personal, which is why it's so important to have an advocate in place for you, regardless of the kind of birth that you want to have. Whether you want medicated, not medicated, hospital, birthing center, home, have someone there to advocate for you. And like you said, make sure that you're making informed decisions about your provider. Doulas like to say you should have a whole birth team around you.
Awesome.
So even if a massage therapist, even somebody that perhaps can give you Reiki, to your partner to be there. Everybody is aware of what your wishes are. And we prefer not to have medical interventions unless it is an emergency or it is life-threatening to the mother and the child. And so
I've even heard women say, not clients, but women that I used to work with, say that doctors would say they gave a C-section just because it's money. Not because they needed it, but just because they get the extra money when it's surgery.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
And in those instances, it's very unfortunate. I think that, what I found is that when I'm talking to women, and it's women professionals across the board, that didn't realize that a cesarean section is major abdominal surgery.
Yeah.
But it's so romanticized as, you get this little scar, that's it, and that's it. Not to say, but C-sections have saved lives. C-sections have been necessary in births, but we are finding an inflated number of the procedure over what is needed, and so definitely ask those questions. what are the implications? What is my healing time? Is this needed? Can we try to have a vaginal birth? And even a big one is, well, I had a C-section before, I have to have one for my second birth. If that's not something you desire, find a provider that will do a VBAC, which is basically a vaginal birth after cesarean section.
Yeah.
There are plenty of doctors and midwives who do VBACs, if you don't want to go through that procedure again. So again, it's like not being against the procedure, but knowing that it is major abdominal surgery. And you will have some after effects.
I have a colleague, and she's come to me for massage therapy. She constantly has back pain because of all of her births were cesarean, and they give you the epidural, and that is damaging to the spine and to the nerves of the spine. Not all the time, but for her, it's constant back pain. And so, just think about those different aspects. Like you said, do I want medication? Do I not? Just being knowledgeable, and then going to, look up doulas in your area, look up midwives in your area, look up even doctors. I have an OBGYN who she is a doctor, MD, but she's open to having other advocates in the space with her. She does not mind. She listens to the mothers, and she is a woman of color. So I think that makes a difference as well.
That makes a huge difference. Huge. I mean, I have one girlfriend that's like, I want a C-section because I don't want a baby coming out my vagina. Okay. That's your choice.
Right.
And you are an informed decision maker. Right. And that is just fine. Let's not shame women for making certain choices for themselves.
It's your choice.
The disparity is making the choices without the information. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so, and after the fact, it's like, I had no idea it was going to take me, 2 months or more to heal after getting this procedure done. I had no idea, so just make sure that you're asking the questions, and you can always change your provider.
Yes.
I had a mother 26 weeks pregnant, which is relatively far along to change a provider, but I helped her change one because she wasn't comfortable with the provider that she was with. But I love that your OBG actually is very open to having other people in that space, so that mother feels completely supported.
Yes.
So I love it. So what advice would you give a woman in that situation? Maybe she's in a healthcare space and she's not feeling supported, she's not feeling heard, she's feeling like, this doesn't feel right, I don't want to have that procedure. But sometimes it can be intimidating being in those spaces to question or challenge. So what advice would you give her?
I would definitely say, listen to your intuition that's telling you, not really feeling this.
Right.
That's called honoring yourself. When you listen to your intuition and then seek out research. I'm sure you can find Jay on Google as a doula. You can find many doulas and many midwives. They're in your area, wherever you are. Do the research. Start, tell your partner, hey, I'm not comfortable. You never know how much a man is knowledgeable until they are needed. Men love to hunt for stuff,
and provide
and protect. Yes, and they are very thank God for men. I love men. They're very knowledgeable, and just telling someone, saying, hey, okay, look, tell a girlfriend, your mom, if not your partner, there are many resources. Many resources you can go to, and then just ask another mother that you know of. Hey, is this normal? Is this the process that you went through? Because I'm going through this process. And they can share their experience with you as well.
That's a really key one too, because support groups are so important to hear from other mothers and providers that have been in those situations. whatever situation that you're in, somebody has been there before. And a
Yes.
documentary that I recommend to all of my moms and partners, and you know, regardless of your family structure, you want to make sure that your family structure is being respected. So whether you are in a man-woman situation, a family structure, or you're in a same-sex family structure, make sure that you feel comfortable in whatever space you're in to get support.
Yes.
And then also watch The Business of Being Born, produced by Ricky Lake. 2 hours or so on YouTube. You can watch it straight through. Lots of good information. Will really give you kind of a perspective and help you make an informed decision about the type of birth that you want.
Awesome.
So in terms of other practitioners or healthcare providers, what advice would you give them to combat bias in their wellness spaces?
Listen to your clients. What I get is a lot of them don't have a lot of good bedside manner.
Okay.
But listening to your patients
Okay.
is key. Not just listening, but hearing them out. That empathy, that you feel, that sympathy, however you want to call it, but just putting yourself in your patient's shoes,
Yeah.
and listening to them. I think that is the number one thing. If a patient says, no, I don't want to do that, then say, okay, here are your other options. Here are some more resources. Let's work on this together.
Yeah, I like that. Listening. And if you feel like because of some conflicting things within yourself as a provider, that you can't serve this patient to the best of your ability, refer them out. Refer them out. Because just like, you know, we like to advocate for the patient to find another provider, providers can be accountable too. Because guess what? We all have bias. We all do.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes, for whatever reason or whatever's going on in your life, you're not able to give the level of service that you know that you want to give. Refer them out.
Yes.
So I love that. So thank you so much. This
You're
is so
welcome.
amazing. So, okay, so how can we get in touch with you?
Yay.
All of this will be in the description of the show, but tell us how we can stay in touch with you.
So my website is www.infinitewellness.com, and you spell it INFYNITE. The Y is because somebody else just had the Infinite Wellness.
And it's cute too.
Yes, so that's how you can get in touch with me. I do monthly, except for the month of December, I do monthly Reiki classes. And actually this Saturday we're having a Reiki 1 class, it's the beginner's class, and then November will be Reiki 2, and then skip over December because that's holiday month. January we will have Reiki 3 and Reiki 1 in the same month. So that's how you can contact me. And also for you ladies, speaking of divine sexuality, next Wednesday we will be I'll be a part of a panel with another wonderful goddess, or two goddesses.
Yes.
The dope sex therapist Elisa Bokin.
Come on, Elisa.
And
Shout
we
out.
will be doing Untamed Nights, and it's all about divine sexuality.
Love it. Love it. Shout out to Sheridan with Southern Couture and Elisa Bokin, who I interviewed in the last series and who is my sis and also facilitating again at the Self-Love Retreat. So I'm excited. Actually, both of those ladies are, so I'm really excited that we are in the same circles trying to do this work.
Yes.
So thank you so much for
Thank
being
you for
on the
inviting
show
me.
and providing us with this good wisdom.
Yes.
I appreciate that. I have been speaking with Sharetha Simpson as we talk more about healing the Black woman. I can't wait for this to be published so that we can continue to provide good content to support you all and have this very important conversation. You are on the Love Right Now show, and this is Pierre Raven, your self-love advocate, and I will see you next time.
This is for the love in you.
I appreciate everything you do.
This is for the love.